Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 6 of Geek.0. I'm Chris,
And I'm Shawn Michael.
and we're coming to you once again live. Well, not live, I guess, but we're coming to you, Sean, at the Geek Cave, and myself once again at the luxurious Drury Inn with their spectacular Wi Fi. But thankfully, it's enough to keep Skype going. But we're going to come to you. This is episode 6, and we got a few things to talk about today. The first thing that I think we're going to talk about is it seems like Oprah may have taken over Microsoft because I get Windows 10 and you get Windows 10. Everybody gets Windows 10 and it's not going to cost you a dime. It doesn't even matter if you frickin' torrented it and stole Windows 8. They're still going to give you Windows 10 for free. So how nuts is that? That's a huge departure for Microsoft from previous copies of Windows that were $200.
Yeah. It's a huge shift in culture from Microsoft. And honestly,
Yeah.
you and I talked about this. I don't know if did it on a podcast. We had a conversation about this with Satya Nadella taking over Microsoft. That one of the things that was really key to getting Microsoft back on its feet and competitive in the market and getting them back to being the company they were pre-Ballmer and in the first couple years of Ballmer's reign is changing the culture. And Microsoft went after people so voraciously for a Windows and fighting for that market share. It was just like this endless barrage of Microsoft attacking its users, going after them, hunting them down. Who pirated this? Who did that? And there's just the culture was different. And Microsoft, I can't say that this move wasn't semi-prompted from the fact that Apple hasn't charged for an OS in quite a while.
Yeah, a little bit.
That having been said, I think this is a great idea. What Microsoft is basically saying is, look, Windows 10 is awesome. It's the best version of Windows we've ever made. For those of us who have been using it, I can't disagree with them. Up until Windows 8 and the debacle that was Windows 8 and 8.1, still to this day, Windows XP was still the reigning king of Windows operating systems. But 10 completely changes the game. And Microsoft is saying, look, you're going to love Windows 10 so much that you are going to support having the software in the future. You're not going to steal it. And to prove that, it's really good and to make sure everyone has access to be able to experience it, it's free. We don't care if you pirated 7 or 8. You can get a legitimate copy of Windows 10 too. Just come to us legit, follow the process, get a copy, get it loaded up, and experience the amazingness. And
Yeah.
I think, like you said, I think it's a massive culture change. I think it's awesome. I think also we've seen in the last couple of years, most evidently, Microsoft's cloud-based services are where their real power is, and that's where their money is by far. Microsoft makes a disgustingly obscene amount of money from their cloud-based services. And I think that they realize the power is not in the OS anymore. It's just a gateway to the rest of the stuff. So if they give Windows away, there's a better chance of getting people onto those cloud platforms, OneDrive and their hosted services. So more power to them. And the OS is amazing. I mean, I have yet to find
We've both been running the tech preview.
Yeah.
And we've both been very, very happy with it. The return of the start button is great. The fact that live tiles are integrated into the start menu is a great option. Cortana is spectacular. Siri can freaking eat it, dude. Siri sucks.
Siri blows compared to Cortana.
Cortana's going to take over the world. Cortana's the beginning of Skynet. We're all going to die. She's that good.
The contextual use of the start menu now with right-clicking and having instant access to all of the key features of Windows from right-clicking the start menu. The notification area has been completely revamped so you can get to all of your important settings and everything else. It's so well done and more features. The biggest feature, since we're talking Windows 10, Microsoft's been talking about that we haven't had access to is Spartan. And finally, Microsoft is killing Internet Explorer. Thank the whatever, whoever the gods of programming decided to finally kill off the monstrosity that is the uber slow and lunky, clogged down,
Yep.
virus-ridden gateway to infections on a computer that is Microsoft Internet Explorer. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Whatever we need to do to show you our love, we'll do. And Microsoft,
Within reason.
yeah, within reason. And Microsoft has replaced it with this unbelievable browser that it literally thinks for you. And what's weird is I've seen demos.
We've heard it's unbelievable. We haven't got to play
We haven't
so.
played it. That's what I was about to say. Is I've watched a demo where the browser actually makes reading content on the internet easier.
Interesting.
It's very, very interesting to watch the way this thing adapts to you and does its thing. So, yeah, go Windows 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's time to toss Internet Explorer in a boat, push it out to sea, and shoot a flaming arrow at it. Viking funeral time for Internet Explorer.
No.
Bye-bye.
No,
See you later.
It's too much honor. Treat it like Fredo. 2 in the back of the head.
Oh, come on,
Dump
man.
it off the boat.
If it hadn't been for Internet Explorer, we wouldn't have. I mean, what was before Internet Explorer?
Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way. If it wasn't for Internet Explorer, about 80% of the web viral content, virus content, malware, and spyware wouldn't exist. So,
hey, isn't that a big chunk of your business? So maybe you should be thanking Internet Explorer.
Thank you, Microsoft, for paying my bills for a number of years with your crappily developed browser. But let's start protecting our customers and consumers.
Keeping IT professionals employed since 1995. So Windows 10, it's going to be free for everybody. Pandemonium is going on at Microsoft, and things are going crazy. And on that same, not on that same note, but in another tech note, Google is dipping their big toe into the bill pay world.
Hell yes.
With Gmail Pony Express.
Yes.
And I had not gotten a chance to read up on this, so you kind of filled me in a little bit on this before we started. So give me a rundown. What is Gmail Pony Express, Sean Michael?
So Pony Express is really, really cool feature, and I haven't seen it yet. However, Walt Mossberg and the team from Recode, Walt Mossberg is the venerable reporter from the Wall Street Times, and a man who I really trust a lot of actually anything he says. He's very, very in tune with what we like to see as consumers. And Recode has gotten some feedback and gotten to take a look at a project called Pony Express from Gmail that actually allows users to pay their bills straight from their Gmail accounts without having to visit any other additional websites or the god-awful sites that most utilities companies have or other service providers.
Or banks.
Exactly. And we know there's some crappy ones out there. So essentially, the service is supposed to launch for the public in the fourth quarter of 2015, but Pony Express will give Google users access to be able to receive your bill inside your Gmail account and then simply click a button inside your Gmail and pay it right on the spot. Fantastic feature. So no having to log into alternate websites or navigate away and worry about security exchanges and things like that. You just pay it right from inside your Gmail.
That's cool, and it also gives the government an opportunity to monitor your bills because Google gives up so much information to the NSA, right?
Exactly.
So that'll be good, I guess. No, I think it, all joking aside, I think it'll be good for consumers, especially those that are, maybe they have an email address, but they're not quite internet savvy enough to pay their bills online. If nothing else, it'll save some trees. So I guess that's good.
I'm all for anything that limits the number of exchanges I have to do. I think of them like stops on a plane flight. That if my stuff comes into my Gmail and I can just take care of it right there and not have to then click a link, go to their website, then log in, then pull up the bill from my email, validate the amount, then go. You see what I'm saying? Anything that
Yo.
simplifies that process and streamlines it, I think that's exactly what Apple Pay is doing with actual payments. So this is a fantastic way of doing it
Well,
digitally.
and I bet you, I mean, dollars to donuts. This is just me thinking out loud. Something tells me Pony Express will have its own app and be integrated into Android before we know it, and it'll be its version of Apple Pay or something along those lines.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
And you won't
surprised
even
at
have to
all.
access Gmail.
I
You know
wouldn't
what
be
I mean?
surprised at all.
So speaking of Apple Pay and Apple in general, um, we've got new. We've got the Apple Beats. Apparently Dre's out, and Apple's brought in a new creative director for Beats. Those of you that are new metal fans and the multiple
New metal,
well,
no.
maybe not new metal. Well, the
Industrial.
multiple, I'll say
Industrial,
this,
my sir.
industrial, the multiple genres that Nine Inch Nails encompasses, because every album's a little bit different. Um, Trent Reznor is now the creative director for Beats Music Service or Apple Music Service, or whatever the heck they're going to call it. I guess it's Beats Music Service. And I
This
know
is
you're a huge
awesome.
fan of Nine Inch Nails, so
Yes.
let's hear it gush a
Okay,
little bit.
so this is awesome. Let's take Nin out of it. Let's take the Nine Inch Nails out of it, and just let's get down to the core basics. So Trent Reznor is, at his actual core, Trent Reznor is a hacker genius. The guy is a computer nut. Before he was making music, he was doing not so legal things with his computers. So the guy, he's got a ton
We'll say
of.
a hack. We'll just call him a hacktivist.
Yeah, we'll use that relative term. So the guy is incredibly smart. He's very, very talented. He knows how to market a business. Nine Inch Nails has been looked to. Their website was looked to for over a decade by a number of music companies and other bands, things like that, as a way to market their music. They were one of the first ones on board with offering their tracks digitally through their website. They're forerunners in the technology market. Trent Reznor is very talented when it comes to that. And we all knew that when Apple aligned with Beats, they weren't necessarily looking to get Dre on board. They wanted the
Right.
brand he built. They wanted the presence and name recognition and the image that Beats was. But Apple's a little squeaky clean, and an ex-gangster from Compton wasn't necessarily who they were looking to run that division. And
Yeah, they
so
needed someone from Cupertino, not Compton.
So, bringing Trent on board is a great way for Apple to take someone who's got a lot of experience in this market with making creating a digital environment for music lovers to experience. And let him run with it and do amazing things. I think one of the things that's a testament to his talent is the fact that Reznor's not just the front man and the majority of the band for Nine Inch Nails, but he has been credited. If you go back and look, you'd be shocked at how many video games he's responsible for the soundtrack or for doing the sound effects for, background audio editing, remastering, you name it. His list of credits is insane for the movie industry, the music industry, technology companies. The guy is so talented. He's got so much to bring to the table. I'm really excited to see what he can do for Beats Music, and where that platform will go from there. That's my thing.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan.
It-
Love this news.
Yeah, and I know you are, and I enjoy some of Trent Reznor's work. I think Johnny Cash did a great version of "Hurt." It's a good song.
Knew you would work that in there someplace.
Uh,
Knew
you and I
it
were
was
actually
coming.
debating which version was better before we started. I had to. I love that song. One of my absolute favorite songs. So it looks like PS4 on the tech same, on those tech notes. It looks like PS4 is finally going to deliver, 14, 15, 16 months after the fact. They're finally going to deliver on some of the promises for what PS4 was going to do. One of which with update 2.50. And one of my favorite things that's coming with it is there's finally a standby and return feature where you can
Yes.
just stop your game in the middle of it and then come right back to it by pressing the PS button. You're obviously very excited by that, by your reaction.
Yeah.
Um, what else is coming on uh, 2.5?
Seriously, such a butt ton of stuff that we can't list it all. I will say this: the promise to deliver on stuff. The suspend mode for the PlayStation 4 was actually there before. I used it quite a bit. I have a number of times paused a game, or I should say, put it on standby, and left
Yeah,
the house and come back and hit the button and gone right back into the game I was playing with no hiccups. So,
I
but
have yet to get it to work.
yes, but I know a number of people had a lot of problems with it. So Sony killed the feature in this last update, and they announced they would be having a true dedicated suspend resume mode, much like the Xbox One has had. And so that's coming. So basically, hold the PlayStation button, suspend your game, walk away, turn off your TV, go do your business, go to work, come back, pick up your controller, hit it, and you can go right back into the game where you left off. No having to load a save point or any of that stuff. You can now back up and restore to an external hard drive or USB. So you can, at this point, back up and restore data associated with your users on your PS4, settings, save data, screenshots, video clips, games. This is huge, especially if you're somebody like me. I have a 2 terabyte drive in my system. But
Yeah.
I have 100 games on my PS4, and Sony has literally shut off my online cloud storage. There's so many game saves loaded in my cloud storage that it won't hold anymore, and you can't purchase more. So now I can actually physically save those to a USB drive or whatever for those ones that you know what I mean, can't fit.
Well, that's good because the fact that, I mean, I know they obviously only have so much space available to store, but it is kind of sucky, that especially a user like me. Yeah, I don't have 100 games saved, but I only have a 500 gig hard drive, and
Yeah.
so I'm going to be catching up on filling up my hard drive here pretty soon, and I'm really not in the mood to put a bigger hard drive in it, so I'll probably just save external.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I'm gonna have to go get a dongle though, so I can charge my controller and have a external hard drive plugged into it at the same time.
There's so many features coming with. There's the find and connect friends. So now you can
Yeah, that'll be nice.
you can find friends via Facebook. New friends request systems that now use real name and PSN names. A streamlined party process. Find friends who play your games. So if there's friends who play, there's now a friends who play this game section whenever you put a game in. You can join friends directly from a news feed, which is freaking cool. For some people, I think the feature's cool. I won't be using it. I don't troll Facebook to see what games people are playing. You can
Yeah.
share earned trophies and optimize your trophy list. This is huge. Overhauling the trophy system has been a big thing on my list. I think it's disgusting that with a high-speed internet connection and a high-end system, that I have to wait for it to load trophies for like 3-4 minutes. And then
Yeah.
it doesn't even list them in the order of most recently played. So if I'm playing a particular game, like say Battlefield Hardline, I've got to load the trophy screen, and then I have to scroll all the way down to the list to find Hardline. If I'm playing that game, it should be at the top of the list. So
Absolutely.
they have now optimized that. There's automatic trophy screenshots. A screenshot will be automatically captured whenever your trophy is earned. You can automatically share trophies now. You can sort trophies finally by earned date and not earned and how difficult they are. You can delete 0% trophies. The list goes on and on. You can now customize button assignments for the DualShock 4. What?
That's pretty cool. Now
Zo-
let me ask you this: am I going to be able to shut off the auto share feature? I don't want my boss knowing that I'm at home playing PlayStation at 12:30 in the afternoon on a Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah. They aren't taking away any of the controls for social. They're just adding to. This is huge for me. For those of you who have a PlayStation TV or use SharePlay with a Vita, Remote Play and SharePlay will now support games at 60 frames per second. and you'll automatically be able to enjoy those games at 60 FPS. And then automatic installation of software updates now. No longer do you have to log into your system and be notified that there's a software update. It'll just push it directly to your system now.
Hey, that's another thing that they promised 16 months ago. So
Yeah.
that'll be nice.
And then there will be verified accounts for game developers, producers, designers, and community managers. So they'll have their own badge so you can know who they are. Daily Motion is getting integrated now with the share button, as well as alongside Twitch and those. And then sub accounts, which are actually a really cool feature. So anybody who's 18 years or older, you have a sub account. Sub accounts can now be upgraded to a master account directly on the PS4. No more do you have to go to the website and set up all of those. For those of you who have kids who have sub accounts for them, so just tons and tons of features. This is probably one of the biggest inclusive updates since the launch of the system.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of surprised it's 2.5 and not 3.0.
Yeah,
I mean,
is that funny?
It's a huge change. It's nice that they're finally delivering. Now, if they would just get me a Bluetooth remote for watching movies,
yes.
And if they would, honestly, that's about it. If they give me a freaking Bluetooth remote to watch Blu-rays, I'd be pretty darn happy.
I want Bluetooth support for the damned headset.
Oh yeah, that too.
This blows my mind that I've got a system that's high-end with Bluetooth controllers. I can hook 4 controllers at once, but in order for me to use the amazing PlayStation Gold headset, I have to have this white dongle sticking out of the front of my system. And I'm about aesthetics, you know me. And I've built a LED lit shrine shelf to my PS4 on my wall, and sticking out of the front of it is this big ass white dongle that says,
"That, sir, is why you save $20 and buy the silver and plug it into your controller." I mean, unless you have something else you really want to talk about, sir.
Robotech, real quick.
Oh, he's got something else, folks.
For those of you who don't know, we'll make it quick because we're running out of time. Transformers blew up the box office. Everybody loves Transformers.
That's right, Robotech. Sorry.
Michael Bay took it to a whole other level. I really wish they could have given it to anyone
that knew what they were doing.
Anyone other than Michael Bay, but it is what it is. He makes stuff blow up really well. He makes stuff blow up really well, and that's what they wanted. So here's the deal, though. As long as they don't hand it off to frickin' Bay, Sony Pictures is now working on remaking Robotech. It's going to be the next big sci-fi franchise for live-action movies. For those of you who don't know, Robotech is an ingenious, extremely well-written, very, very character-deep Japanime robot show. Imagine sort of a cross between Voltron and Transformers. None of the combining like Voltron, but definitely a lot of the mech stuff. But what made Robotech amazing was it was all about the characters. The fighter jets and robots that they're in are extensions of themselves. The true nature of these is actually the character development. So it'll be really, really cool to see Columbia and Sony bring this and do it right and not turn it into a Michael Bay explosion fest. But just the idea that they're rocking it has me excited. So obviously they've done some things with G.I. Joe and Transformers already. It'll be cool to see.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't know anything about Robotech. I've never seen Robotech. I did grow up on G1 Transformers and Voltron. Every weekday morning watching Voltron in the living room. So anything that combines Voltron with Transformers, for the most part, does that. I'm pretty pumped. I'm kind of curious to see what it's all about. I guess I'm really curious to see who they're going to get to helmet, because that's going to make all the difference in the world. Like you said, if it's some jank director like Michael Bay or Jerry Bruckheimer or somebody that's into disaster porn like those guys, then we're going to have a problem.
I will even take Bruckheimer over Bay, but don't let him touch it. I will say this.
It's going to be Roland Emmerich.
Wow. So I don't know who's going to helm it, but I do know that Michael Gordon, who did 300 and G.I. Joe Rise of the Cobra, he's doing the script. So he wrote both of those movies. He's actually doing the script for this. So there's potential there. So
Yeah,
I'm
there's
excited.
something there. So that's good. That's good. So rundown. Everybody gets Windows 10 for free. Trent Reznor's working with Apple Beats. PS4 finally living up to the promises of 16 months ago, and Robotech coming soon to a theater near you.
Hoorah.
So with all that being said, um, check us out at geek.0.com. That's geek, POINT, and the numeral 0.com. You can check us out facebook.com/geek.0. Check us out at Twitter, twitter.com/geek.0. And with that being said, I'm Chris.
And I'm Shawn Michael.
Don't be afraid to let your geek flag fly.